Welcome in on this terrific Thursday. Football practice starts for real. I get my first good look at the Tigers football team today. Who will it be? Marcus Stokes, Aaron Nolan, who knows? We will find out. I do think both will play a bunch this year based on some other things. Take a look at what Charles Huff does in the limelight when it is for real. And this is the beginning. The Tigers are a week ahead of everybody because they play week 0. Is that not the stupidest concept? Honestly, it's the dumbest concept that there is. Why can't you just make this week 1? Week 0? I hope when they reconfigure everything and everything becomes set in stone on how they're going to do things, that they go, okay, this is really week 1. We're starting the season August, last Saturday in August for a certain amount of teams. That's actually week 1. Most teams will start week 2. Does that not make more sense to you?
Yeah, the only answer I can give you is a way to monetize the number 0. That's it.
How are they doing that? How are they monetizing week 0?
Because just by having it. If you don't have week 0, you can't charge for tickets, so on and so forth. I think it's just a way to maximize a number.
I guess.
Money, that's it. No other reason.
It makes no sense to me. The women's tennis tournament continues today. This tournament baffles me. First of all, if you'll notice, they play more afternoon sessions than they do night sessions. When it's 100 degrees feels like, why wouldn't you switch that? I don't understand that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't understand their lack of publicity. I think that this tournament could be drawing so many more people and do so much better if indeed, like, I will be honest with you, and I've talked to several media people, we all applied for credentials. I uploaded a picture, which to me is challenging to get on my application. I've never heard back. I don't believe anybody has. You go to get your pass, nobody knows who the heck you are. Apparently, the local media is not a
priority.
A priority. Thank you. That was the exact word I was looking for. Not a priority. I haven't seen very many highlights. A little bit I've seen. I hear it's on Tennis Channel 2. Now, I get Tennis Channel 1. You can get it through YouTube. Joe Dank was telling me. Of course, Joe Dank would know this stuff, right? The business of sports. I think they've done a terrible job, and I think they could probably get bigger crowds. They can't, it's just a shame. They got the hottest darn week of the year, and they aren't smart enough to move the afternoon to evening. But I don't think they've done a very good job there. I listen. I think his name is John Gordon, who's now the head of Memphis tennis. He's a bright guy, came from Washington. I loved everything he said to begin with, but they have not executed a PR plan that I've seen at all, which is a shame because this community loves tennis. We had that tennis tournament at the Racket Club, and all those number ones in the world came forever and ever. Every great American played every single year. Then you had the men and the girls. You had number ones here.
You're correct, John Borden, yes.
John Gordon. He's
B with a B, Borden.
Borden? Okay, John Borden. He's outstanding. But I don't know. I'm trying to go this afternoon. Between the Tigers practice and the press conference, there's about 3 hours I got that I can go view this tennis tournament. I've seen the court while playing Audubon Golf Course. You can see the setup, and it's cool. Doesn't see very many. It's like 500, maybe a few more, but very neat setup. We'll check that out. And then, speaking of women, have you seen the women's soccer preseason?
No, sir, I have not.
Oh my God, the Memphis women, they're playing in 12 days. They're playing Alabama, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Houston, and then taking a trip to Ohio State.
But what I do know that is earned because we were ranked for a large portion of last season, correct?
Brooks Monaghan's teams are ranked almost every year.
Yeah, so yeah, we earned that schedule if it's a tough schedule from what I understand.
Yeah, but he doesn't mess around. He takes advantage of the fact that he's got these teams that are so good that are going to be ranked, and he gets them competitively tough so that they're ready for the tournament, although last year was disappointing because he had a great team. and did not cash in. And his number one scorer transferred. That's the first girl I've seen, and she was from Harding Academy, who is transferred. I'm sure Brooks has found different personnel that will make up for that loss, but we shall see. But man, has he got a daunting task. And then we're going to talk with Pete Pranica today. Tim Doolin on baseball. He's in New Mexico with the Connie Mack World Series, and he's got 3 teams from the Texas area, and we'll talk about that experience. So that's coming up with Tim. And we end the day with Jarvis Greer, and we'll talk. He was at yesterday's press conference where you not only heard Charles Huff, but you heard, and this is the last time we'll hear from them this season, the coordinators, Kevin Decker on offense, Lance Guidry on defense, and those 2 guys are pretty articulate. So we'll hear what they had to say. But I don't know if you guys are aware, this has nothing to do with sports, but it's as fascinating to me as possible. NASA is about to send up, I think in the next 30 days, they're transferring from where they built this telescope to Florida to get it up in the air. This new telescope they have is going to be sent 1 million miles away. Did you hear me? 1 million miles away. This telescope is like 100 times or more powerful than the Hubble. We will see things that, according to the experts, they say will rewrite the textbooks of what we know about space. We will know more about galaxies, new galaxies. We will see what the heck is made up of dark matter. They'll be able to figure that out. They will see billions, they're saying, billions of new stars. Billions of new stars. Who knows? Maybe there is life on one of those new stars that we'll then call a planet. This thing, it's exciting. I just can't imagine sending something 1 million miles away that is going to then send you through streaming pictures and everything else. Most amazing thing that I can think of, this new telescope. My gosh. Good luck. I can't wait just to see what kind of stuff is sent back from that to begin with, because that's going to happen. Once they get it up in the air, I think it takes a month or so to get 1 million miles away. Can you imagine you're going that fast? 1 million miles away.
I'd be terrified.
To see billions of new stars and learn about this is going to be great. Rewriting the textbooks. Can't wait to see what this new telescope will open our eyes to. In the meantime, we're going to talk with our good friend, the TV voice of the Grizzlies, Pete Pranica, in a minute. As I sit in the Family Leisure Studios, I remind you the ultimate pool party still continuing with great prices on these pools. Under $4,000, the above ground, the in ground, the new thing they're doing, under $50,000, state of the art, all in stock patio furniture, price to move. If you do buy one of those, you get a free umbrella and base, and those aren't cheap. That's a heck of a gift. And mention us, and you get a pool or a spa, $200 off, just like that. All you got to do is head to see our friends at Family Leisure. And Pete, brought to you by one of his favorite golf courses, I think. It should be. It's Miramichi. Miramichi, 25 minutes away from my house in East Memphis. Not in Millington. It's in Woodstock. I promise you, it's 25 minutes. If you live on Mud Island in downtown, you're 10, 12 minutes away from Miramichi. And Miramichi's a great place. You're talking about competitive golf. 7,104 yards if you want to really test yourself. Plenty of tee boxes. You can move way up. Under 6,000 is how I like it. You can go to 5,000 on the women's tees. Perfect. And beautiful. Especially the back nine is like a walk through the woods with hills and a stream that meanders and a waterfall. You got it all. It's just gorgeous. And that deck on top of 9 and 18 is the best view of all in Shelby County. I think the best practice facilities. It's the complete golf experience at Miramichi. All right. Our good friend standing by, Pete Pranica, and let's just start with what everybody's talking. It's amazing. This thing happened a week ago, Pete Pranica, but we haven't talked since then. And LeBron James made his decision. It's Philly. People cannot stop talking about this because I think it surprised everybody. Did it surprise you? Good morning.
Good morning. It did a little bit. You're looking at Cleveland, which would have been a nice closure to his career to finish out near his hometown in Akron. That, I think a lot of people thought that would be it. Or did he want to run it back with Miami and try to revisit past glory? But, I think it was Rich Paul said, we really didn't want to rewrite, or go back and try to rewrite the Miami years or add another chapter to it. I don't know if Golden State was ever really in play. I think LeBron, he's not ring chasing, but certainly he wants the opportunity to play for a championship. And when you look at the roster that Philadelphia has now with Jaylen Brown there and VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and if Joel Embiid is healthy and Paul George, that's a really, really good roster.
No, I think Paul George went to Boston in the Jaylen Brown trade.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the Jaylen Brown piece of it, that's a roster certainly that can compete in the East. I think more than any of the others he was contemplating, with the possible exception of Miami.
I think. I'm trying to remember. It might have been Charles Barkley who I saw on the Dan Patrick show, and he basically said now he thinks the East might be better than the West, and that Boston did not get better, but Philly did, and that Philly might be the number one contender. I mean, you've got Edgecombe, who had that great rookie year. You've got Maxey, who might be the second best player on the team behind Jaylen Brown, and Embiid is third. I mean, that's pretty good. And then you got LeBron, who's been this marvel. They are really a top-notch team, and it came out of nowhere. I thought if he'd gone to Cleveland, they could have won a title.
Maybe, but I mean, then I think you're counting entirely too much on LeBron at 41, and he has had some injury issues. And one of the things that people will look very closely at with Philadelphia is, can we keep these guys healthy? And Embiid is a huge part of that. If Embiid can be healthy for an entire year, which seems unlikely, they're a very, very tough team to beat in that Atlantic division, because Toronto's not too bad either. So that's going to be a very, very difficult division to deal with. It's top to bottom. I mean, that's going to be unbelievable. And, of course, the nation will get to see a lot of the 76ers this year. 34 games they're expecting on national TV this year. That's incredible.
Let's talk about the NBA East and the NBA West, okay? Because honestly, I'm beginning to think the East may be better than the West. New York's the champs, right? And they've got everybody except Mitchell Robinson back. Philly's become so good. I don't think Boston got any better. It looks like we can't forget Cleveland. You mentioned Toronto a little bit. I'm going to say Indiana is going to be terrific because they got their injured superstar back in Halliburton. Even Washington's much improved if they've got that. In the West, you got OKC, San Antonio, maybe Denver. And after that, everything, in my mind, is up for grabs. Do you think the East is now better than the West?
I think it's deeper, for sure, because, like you said, once you get past San Antonio and Oklahoma City, in Denver right now, they're up against the second apron, so they're trying to figure out what they want to do financially. Dave Yeager, by the way, now become the lead assistant with the Nuggets. But then after that, I mean, Dallas is struggling. New Orleans is struggling. Houston is we don't know what to make out of Houston. Golden State is very, very old. Sacramento is, and the Lakers now and the Clippers. I think they had the lowest projected over/under win total in some sports books in the West. So definitely, for me, the East is going to be more competitive. It's going to be more compelling top to bottom. The West is very, very top-heavy.
All right, the Grizz, your team, sent away KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, they just paid him off, and he goes to Philly. I think the way that works is the Grizzlies pay off, what was it, $21 million minus the $4 million he's going to get, the veterans minimum that Philly would pay him. So the Grizzlies actually save $4 million. They pay him $17. He's free to go. They get rid of that player who I thought last year showed age. But he's got a chance maybe to win something in Philly. Give me your thoughts on that particular move.
KCP, great teammate, good veteran leader, been in championship situations. But the Grizzlies clearly were going in a younger direction, right? You know, Cedric Howard was ultimately going to be the starter, and KCP was going to be coming off the bench. And the Grizzlies were hoping that his regression from the three-point line the previous year with Orlando was an outlier. It was not an outlier. I mean, KCP could get hot, but bottom line, you know, you wanted him for leadership and three-point shooting. The leadership piece was there. The three-point shooting piece was not. And so it's understandable. I mean, you know, the Grizzlies right now, I think they got 22 guys on the roster. So they have to do some paring down, and whether that's D'Angelo Russell being bought out as well, that's a possibility. Taj Gibson's deal is not guaranteed. So, you know, those are a couple places because the Grizzlies are going to have to make some moves, whether it's via buyouts or trades, in order to get to the 15+3 heading into next season.
Explain to me, if you can, because this stuff gets complex, really. When you buy out a player, how does that affect your cap number?
No, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not Mr. CBA. You know what? I just rely on Bobby Marks and all these other really smart people to tell me what the cap situation is. So I haven't delved into it.
I appreciate your honesty because I can't figure that out. I would have to say that the NBA salary structure with caps and aprons is the most intricate, complicated, almost incredibly difficult to figure out than any other system of any professional sport.
I'm still trying to get my mind wrapped around pick swaps, you know, in some of these deals too. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. And, you know, I have only so many brain cells left, and I'm not gonna waste them on the CBA. I'll let smarter people tell me what the situation is.
I always laugh at the second round picks because I would love to know what the percentage of second round picks that are actually become big time players. Now there's a percentage, but you know, there's 30 of those every year that get tossed around, like and maybe 2 a year pan out. It's crazy to me.
True. But, you know, there are guys that have been really good second-round picks that have had productive NBA careers, and there are even undrafted guys that have had good NBA careers because some guys just seem to blossom much later in life, and sometimes it's about the situation and the opportunity presented. So, and the Grizzlies have had success with second-round picks, and maybe Richie Saunders will be another chapter in that story.
Yeah. All right. Do we expect, like you mentioned, they still got to make moves? You got to be down to 15 roster players and 3 2A guys. That's 18 guys you can have on your roster, and they've got 22, as you mentioned. Do you see another impact move?
That's a real good question. Like I said, you've got to move some guys. You've got some financial flexibility. I don't know because again, anytime you are talking about a trade, you need a trading partner. I know that people are talking about, even though the Grizzlies' name has not been brought up, in connection with Denver and their second apron situation. Denver is the one that's really got to make moves. The Grizzlies have financial flexibility. They're going to have to pair their roster, like I said, whether that's via a buyout of different players or trading somebody away. But if you trade somebody away, you really can't take guys back either. So it's a matter they're going to have to cull the roster. And is it an impact move? I don't know that there's going to be anything that's going to be, an earth-shattering Shams Charania bomb on X that rocks our world.
I'm kind of trying to figure it out myself. I know they got $29 million of flexibility, so that's a lot. And I know Denver, because the several outlets have written the story about Cam Johnson or Peyton Watson, both Denver players that have them over the second apron, which is very penal. So they're going to probably move one of those two, and they're both really good players. One is young. Johnson shot almost 40% from three-point range, and he's 29 or 30, and I believe he's on a contract that's only got 1 year left. Do you see them involved in a move with the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I mean, Stan Kroenke's got a lot of money, but they're also juggling the Los Angeles Rams and Arsenal over in the Premier League, financially. I mean, the Kroenkes have been willing to spend, but they let loose their TV broadcaster Chris Marlowe, and they're trying to save some nickels there. So usually the Cronkies are big on spending, but again, that second apron is so punitive, and they've got so many other irons in the fire in other professional leagues that I can see that they're going to want to stay away from that second apron if they can make a deal.
I think the second apron nobody wants. No matter how much money you've got, you could be Steve Ballmer.
Right.
You could easily be Robert Pera. He's got plenty of money, but they don't want to go into that. It is too punitive. And I know the NBA Players Association, that can be the next time there's discussion, that could be a topic of discussion because it is so punitive. No one will get there, and the players do not like it because they think it's too restrictive.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big talking point in the next collective bargaining agreement because it is so penal. And the other thing, when you look at Denver, realistically, is their championship window open? I mean, they've got Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
That's great, but you're looking up at a San Antonio team that figures to be really good, and Oklahoma City remains to be perennially good. What are the chances of Denver coming out of the West? If you look at it from the Cronkies' point of view, and you think you can win a championship, with your roster or by making a move, or being in the second apron, okay, well, yeah, maybe you can swallow that for a year. But if your championship window is very, very narrow, which I think it is for Denver, it's probably not worth going second apron. I just don't see that being viable.
I'm with you. All right, last thing, no Middle East games this year because they were talking about Abu Dhabi and the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. And so I ask you, who love the game and love to work, if NBA TV had called you and asked you to participate as a play-by-play guy for any of those games, would you have gone?
I seriously doubt, though, the NBA would have sent their commentators on site. We would have been. You would have been doing it somewhere in New York. We would have been calling it from the studios in Secaucus. I'm quite sure. I'm trying to remember, and I know. I think even last year, Orlando was able to call the games overseas, even though even though it was on national TV, they had been over their limit. So you can only lose 15 games, and I think Orlando was going to lose more than that. So they were able to do the games, and I don't believe that David Steele went over to he didn't go to Berlin or London to do those games. They were done from his studio. So I can imagine if there were games in the Middle East, I doubt that the talent would have been taken to site.
Did the radio guys go to London? Did Eric Hasseltine go to London?
No. That was called off the monitor back here in Memphis.
Wow. Okay. I wondered about that. I never knew. Pete Pranica, as always, enlightening, entertaining. We appreciate it. You've got something for me, Darian?
Yep, I got the KCP information. I can give it to you in 15 seconds if you want it.
Go.
All right, the KCP move saved the Grizzlies $3.8 million. The hit originally was $21.6 million. It fell to 17.7 because KCP signed for 3.8 with Philadelphia.
Right.
That's the exact amount we saved, the 3.8. So the 17.7 stays, we saved 3.8 million.
So what they do is he gets his money, which is guaranteed for that final year as a Grizzly, and that is offset by the minimum that he signed with Philadelphia. So they get $3.8 million in savings. How about that, Pete Pranica? We learned something today. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good.
You got it. That is Pete Pranica, the TV voice of the Grizzlies. We take a quick break. When we come back, we're headed to Farmington, New Mexico. What, you may say? That is where the Connie Mack World Series is. That's where the Doolin Dodgers are. That means that's where Tim Doolin is, and he's next.
Be sure to download our Hub 901 app for instant access to Sports 56 and all the Flynn broadcasting stations from anywhere. Go to the App Store and get the Hub 901 app today.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
It's time to ride in America's best-backed vehicles with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Take your pick, 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander ES or 2026 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, now $389 a month. Every remaining 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross and 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, $6,000 off MSRP. If you own a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, you can receive an additional $2,000 off your 2026 Rally Art and Trail Edition trims and get $4,500 off or 0% for 72 months. Plus, Tennessee residents get an additional $1,000 off all 26 Outlander sports. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1956 Covington Pike, online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Outlander TZO 20861, MSRP 32810, Cross TZO 35349, MSRP 30455. Must show proof of ownership 22 Outlander to receive Rally Art Trail. Offers include all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
My friend Tim Doolan's got a sweet setup in New Mexico. We go to him momentarily. And he's brought to you by the sweetest thing in Memphis. That's Dinstall's. And the summer sizzler special this week is Divinity. That's hand-spooned white, fluffy egg whites blended with sugar, topped with a pecan, just like your grandma used to make. I mean, it's the best. They call it Divinity because it's divine, I promise you. And it's your last chance for blackberries. Get them while you can. You know, these berries, remember, even the strawberries go away when football starts. The blackberries are going away. Get them while you can at all 5 of the Dinstalls in the burbs. That's Germantown and Collierville, where they make them. That's Pleasant View, downtown, and in my neck of the woods, Laurelwood. This week, the summer sizzler special is Divinity. To Farmington, New Mexico we go. Tam Doolan, you got 3 teams competing for the Connie Mack World Series Championship. How you doing?
I had 3. I've got 2 now. Chris Godwin's team, that's the defending champion, is still alive. He's in the losers bracket, but they won yesterday and actually sent the Midland Redskins home. We beat my team, our 17U team, beat Midland the night before. So I think I'm sitting. I haven't been beat yet, so it's a double elimination tournament. So I think I got to win 2 or 3 more games. Chris has got to win probably 4 to win it. But
if you take on Chris Godwin's team, former Memphis Christian Brothers player, former Tiger, if you take on Godwin's team, who's better?
You know, I think it's pretty even match. It just depends on what arms are going. I mean, he's 18. He's got a lot of really good players. University of Texas commit, Arkansas commit, Oklahoma commit. He's got some really good players. So, you know, it as long as we play clean, I say I don't care who wins. I mean, obviously, if Chris and I were playing in ping pong, we try to beat each other's brains out. But anyway, it's a great atmosphere out here. The city just shuts down and big parade. And last night we played in front of about 6,000 fans. It's being televised on YouTube and Amazon Prime. So it's a big deal.
It was a big time thing years ago. I remember in the early 80s, I'm going to say 83, maybe?
Yeah.
When Keith Hagan's Tigers from Memphis got all the way to the championships in Farmington. WREC then sent me to do those games for the Tigers.
Awesome.
And They did not end up winning, but most of those guys on that team ended up playing in college. I don't know if anybody got to the major leagues. How many of these guys that you've got, and this is an interesting thing, is that the number one amateur championship for high school baseball as prospects go into college, or is there another one too?
Well, I think there's it's a good question. I think there's several, to be honest with you. I mean, a lot of the perfect game events and the PBR events, they're literally like, I was at a national championship in Atlanta 2 weeks ago. There was 376 teams there.
Ooh.
So it's a different setup. I mean, you play like 6 or 7 pool games in those events, and 4 of the 6 are against the Bad News Bears. And then once it gets down to bracket play, they're, the top teams in the country. This event is more of a traditional way, like you just mentioned, been going on for 35, 40 years. 12 of the best teams come out here and play in a true, almost a college World Series kind of setting. It's a 10-day event, so it's a grind. And if you don't have, a plethora of pitching and being able to turn those guys over and manage your bullpen effectively, it's hard to win this event. So yeah, it's one of the top 2 or 3 in my opinion, especially in the 18 and under division.
How many guys will end up in the big leagues that have played in this? Because it's still a feeder system. What's interesting to me is that, and I heard, I don't know who was talking about this. It was a couple of GMs on one of the networks that was talking about how, because of the SEC in particular, how college baseball has really kind of replaced single A and almost double A.
Yeah,
and the feeder system is your system here, like soccer. Soccer's always had a feeder system with academies, right? Even the USL championship team here, we had an academy in Memphis, and part of the USL 2 team we have now is like a feeder system. You got feeder systems. Your Doolin Dodgers are feeder systems to college, which has replaced a lot of the minor leagues. So it's interesting the way it now works in America.
No, it really is, and it's changing. I mean, even over the last month, just dealing with some of the players we represent in the portal, and the NIL is crazy. We talk about it all the time, but there's tons of pro scouts here. There's not as many of the colleges here. There's some, but most of the colleges. I was just with Skip Johnson, the coach of the Oklahoma Sooners that won the national championship, and visited with him hours during a rain delay the other day, and a lot of these Power 5 schools, Wolo, are starting their own scouting department.
Jeez.
They've got 3 guys that do nothing but analyze, stay on the computer, look in the portal, look for guys that blew up last year at, say, Memphis or Tulsa or Wichita State. And that's how they're recruiting now. They're recruiting the portal heavily. Some of the schools are keeping, in their philosophy of how they want to build their roster. That they are taking some high school players, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got 22-year-olds on the field, competing against the 18-year-old. It's just tough. Skip had a good idea. I'll throw this out there, that he wishes they would not stress on the rankings during the week, your non-conference games, as far as in your RPI, which would allow them to put less of an importance on winning the weekday games, expand the season a little bit, and that way they could play their young freshmen and not worry about taking a loss that's going to affect them in the rankings.
Huh.
And then that way they've got a chance to keep those guys at the end of the year. They don't get in the portal because they got them enough at bats or innings or whatever. So I think there's still some tweaking needs to be going on, and who knows if it will, but there is no question that in the draft this year, the colleges were competing, your Power 5 schools were competing against Major League Baseball as far as what they were paying their players to stay versus going in the draft.
Well, I was wondering about there's 2 kids drafted in the Memphis area, the kid from Houston. I'm trying to remember the other school. Might have been Christian Brothers.
Yeah, it was Will Brick and Bland. And they both got overpaid in the draft because when you got a power hitting left-handed hitter like Bland and you got a premium catcher, and this year the catching pool was thin, those guys were able to benefit and get really overpaid slot instead of going to Vanderbilt and Mississippi State, respectively, for those two.
So those are going to go right to the majors, or right
No,
to pro ball,
no.
right to pro ball.
Yeah, that's right. They'll go. And when you sign a high school player and pay them that kind of money, they're not going to rush these guys. These guys are going to start out in rookie ball. They might do 2 years of rookie ball before they even get to a full season A club, because they don't want to rush them. And then the tough part about this year's draft is all these guys are going to be effective next year because of the CBA and the lockout. Because there's going to be it's going to last at least a month and a half. The owners don't really care about the first month of the season because they're not making any money due to weather and et cetera. So they're prepared to lock in and lock these guys out, I think, 6 weeks into the spring training. So then you're going to push the whole season back, and the minor league guys are going to be the ones that have to take the brunt of it, because they're not really worried about minor league guys getting ready. They're going to get the big league guys ready to start that season.
So out of curiosity,
it might be a lost year.
The two kids, Vandy and Mississippi State, what would they have made had they gone to those schools as opposed to what they're going to get by going to rookie ball?
Yeah, I mean, typically when freshmen come into the SEC that are premium players like these two, say, 6 figures, I mean, they're all going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 figures. And then if you put up numbers as a freshman, there's guys making upwards from $250,000 to $700,000-$800,000.
Okay, what's he going to make by going to the rookie ball? I know they get a guaranteed contract to begin.
Well, the only thing he's doing is getting his bonus. So if he gets $2 million as bonus, he's going to make probably $1,000 a month.
But he gets $2 million. But he gets $2 million.
$2 million, and probably some of it's going to be deferred. I mean, he'll probably take half within 90 days, and then the other half after January, just from tax perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get their bonus relatively quick.
All right. Tell me about Ohtani. He's got an injured bicep, and you know what I'm hearing, that the Dodgers might reach out to try to get Skubal, which would be just ridiculous if they were to get him. I know the Cubs would like him. I know the Brewers are interested in him. That would seem to me to be unfair. We don't know how long Ohtani will be out, but a bicep is a bicep now. That's not an easy thing.
Well, they've got the luxury. Biceps are much better than elbows and shoulders, but they've got the luxury of just their staff is so deep anyway. They just brought back the closer last night from being on the DL, so they got Edwin Jackson. The other thing too is and I'm not super biased to the Dodgers, but I understand people getting frustrated. But at the end of the day, it's not the Dodgers' fault that they've got 9 of the top 100 minor league prospects. That's called developing. That's not money. That's they draft well and they develop. And if they've got 9 of the top 100 minor league prospects to trade for a Skubal, kudos to them. These other organizations got to do a better job of developing their minor league talent. There's some organizations, the Angels, they have 0 prospects, 0. And that's not anybody's fault but theirs. So it would be crazy, it would be ridiculous, but at the end of the day, it's where we are. And they're running their business better than the other ones are. Yeah, they got money, but they made money on how they're drafting and how they're acquiring players.
What do you think's going to happen trade deadline?
I don't know that Skubal's going to go to the Dodgers. I mean, it would be crazy, but I think the Phillies have got to be in. I think the Cardinals have got to decide, are they in or are they selling?
What's happened to them? They've fallen like a lead
they don't
balloon
have a bullpen. Their bullpen is atrocious. They just can't get anybody out in the bullpen. They've got a good core group of young players. And I think Blaze Jordan is one of those guys. He's not hitting a bunch of home runs, but he's getting his RBIs, and that's what they need him to do, is drive runs in. So I think the Cardinals are fine. They got to decide if they're going to go make some moves. I don't know if they've got many minor league prospects. That's the tough part.
All right. Last thing, you mentioned RBIs. The guy leading the league in RBI is a guy from the Houston Astros named Yordan Alvarez. 35 home runs, 80 RBI, hitting .321, maybe a Triple Crown guy. Certainly going to be MVP candidate, or at least every talking head that does baseball is talking about this guy. He happens to be represented by you. Talk about this guy. Where did he come from?
Not by me. Not by me. At least that's a correction. But I mean, our agency represents him, and I tell you what, I saw him in spring training a couple of years ago. And you hear people talk about this, especially old scouts. It's like you can turn your back during batting practice if you were standing at the Turtle, and the ball comes off his bat like Mickey Mantle, like some of the best King Griffey. It's just a different sound.
Yeah.
And unless you're there to see it and hear it, grown men get off the infield during batting practice when Yordan Alvarez is up.
Where did he come from?
He's from the Dominican.
Ah.
Yeah, he's just a pure left-handed hitter that can hit for average, but yet does serious damage, obviously with home runs and RBIs, as you just mentioned.
Well, and the Astros, if he came from the DR, the Astros must have developed him. So there's kudos to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, my friend, as always, good luck to you at the Connie Mack World Series. I hope you guys finish 1-2.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Let me know.
All right, have a good weekend, Wolo.
You too. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. That's our guy on baseball. That is Tim Doolin. He's brought to you by Sheldon. The temperatures are soaring. No doubt about that. The interest rates and inventory of homes is also climbing pretty good. And when you want to sell your home, who are you going to call? Well, I suggest Sheldon. That's Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf Realtors, because he sells houses in these good markets. He's done it in bad markets. He's so good, he's done it in terrible markets. Don't take it for granted. Your friend or the guy across the street or a neighbor, relative, whatever it may be, because they're in the real estate business, they can do it for you. So talk to him. Talk to 2 or 3 people. Make sure one of them, though, is my guy, Sheldon. And then you'll hear about the highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in when you sell and what you make. In this market, your home needs to be in the sweet spot to beat out the competition. So call or email Sheldon. Real simple. 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's right. Memphis Relocate is in the name. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. Do it now. Get it done with Sheldon. We take a break. We're going downtown. The Hall of Famer Jarvis Greer comes your way next.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hey, I've got Jason, the main man Marshall, on the line from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. What's up, my man Jason?
What's up, Randy? It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, and we've got deals you won't believe. 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE, $316.01 a month. 2026 Hyundai Sonata SE, only $343.86 a month, plus 0.99 for 60 months and 1.99 for 72 months available. 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE, only $349.61 a month at 1.9 for up to 72 months or 0% for 60 months available.
And every Gossett Hyundai comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the owner assurance.
Come see me, the main man Marshall, where we're charging forward and charging less every day at Gossett Hyundai. 1956 Kona Pike, or visit online at HyundaiGossett.com 24/7.
All 36-month lease Sonata TA 582 MSRP 38,935. Tucson TA 743,800 MSRP 31,350. Elantra TU 165,979 MSRP 25,060. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title and license for approved credit. See for complete details. Offer valid through the monthly list.com.
Old Dominick Distillery invites you to have a sip of Memphis. Discover downtown Memphis and raise a glass to the city's history with free distillery tours through September 7th. Locals and visitors alike can book a free tour of Old Dominick's downtown Memphis distillery, where you can learn how award-winning spirits are made from grain to glass. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. We don't back down. NST is the way to go.
Let me tell you about something most people have never heard of and probably should have. It's called Byrna. And here's the part that got my attention. It's a real self-defense option that's legal in all 50 states. No permit, no background check. It ships right to your door. It did mine. It's not a gun. That's the point. It's a launcher. Fires a round that stops a threat from up to 60 feet away, and it's less lethal. That's way more distance than pepper spray, and it gives you time and space to get to safety. And you don't need extensive training or guesswork. Even if you've never held one, it's built to be simple and easy to use when it actually matters. Best part, they're made right here in America, Fort Wayne, Indiana, hand assembled. So if you've ever wanted a way to protect yourself and your family without the complications, this is it. Over 500 government agencies, police departments, and private security firms use Byrna. Byrna.com/herd. BYRNA.com/herd. Byrna. Be ready.
Hey, I've got him on the line right now. Marty McNate. Marty, I hear you got some exciting deals over there at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
You heard right, Randy. I got a 2026 Jetta S 40 MPG highway estimate, $249 a month.
$249 a month for Jetta S. Hey, what else you got out there, McNate?
If you love a great deal on an SUV, you gotta love the 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS, $269 a month.
I know I'm loving Tiguan at $269 a month. How about Atlas?
Well, out here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, your 2026 Atlas SE is only $329 a month.
$329 a month for Atlas. So get out there, ask for Marty McNate. He'll be waiting for you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online, GossettVWG.com.
And remember, your future is what you make it.
All 36 month lease, Atlas TC 564,481, MSRP 41,911, Jetta TMO 312,217, MSRP 25,791, Tiguan TMO 43,763, MSRP 32,881, include all rebates and incentives, must be financed through Volkswagen Financial Services, PFA 95, excludes tax title and license with the blue credit offer in 73126, dealer stock only, MPG estimate provided by EPA.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We're going downtown. The Hall of Famer standing by, as he always does, to end our show on Thursdays. That would be the one and only Jarvis Greer. You were at the press conference the other day when Charles Huff spoke, and it's the last time this year, maybe till the end, that we hear from the OC, Kevin Decker, and the DC, Lance Guidry. You were there for all of that. What was your impression? Good morning, my friend.
Hey, Dave, good morning to you. Wow, it's here, isn't it? It's amazing that it's just like all of a sudden, boom, here we go. And fortunately, they're going to get a little bit break in the weather to start practice. But, yeah, you know, it's like you hear Coach Huff speak, and it's like, okay, let's run. Where's the brick wall? Ready to run through it. And he's very, very good at that. The coordinator spoke for the first time, and from what we understand, the last time this season, because Huff wants to have, you know, he wants to have total say over everything that goes on. But everybody is ready to go. We saw a lot of the players coming in. They had smiles on their faces, and they, you know, were ready to get in and get their workout in and be ready for day one. We'll get a chance to go out there at 3:30 today and take a look at them. I'll see you out there, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
2:45, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so that's good. And as far as what Coach Huff said, is pretty much the same as what he said at Media Day down at St. Petersburg, Florida. You know, that the quarterback situation, they're not going to say anything until he's not going to name a starter until probably the week of the game, first game, August 29th at UNLV, which, okay, that's most everybody does that. But he says that he has two quarterbacks that are very similar in the fact they won't have to change the offense, you know, if one goes down and the other one has to go in. They both are mobile. He said the main difference is one is right-handed and one's left-handed. So the ball spins, you know, different for one and spins the other way for the other. But he said he really liked his offensive line. Kevin Decker, the offensive coordinator, says they're running the spread offense this year. And usually when you're running a spread, well, that means, you know, you're not that sure about your O-line. You want to spread people out and run people around. He said, no, they got some nasties up front, and he calls them hoggies. But I hadn't heard that term before. I've heard of hogs. I had never heard hoggies, but that's what he wants to call them, fine.
I think if we are examining the position rooms on offense, I think the O-line has less questions than, let's say, the receiving room. Now, if you're running that spread like that, you got to have 3 or 4 really good receivers, and we don't know much about this receiving core.
No, we don't. I'm just looking at the offensive line here. I'm seeing 6'5", 6'7", 6'4", 6'6", 6'5", and they're all over 300 pounds. They're all in the 310 to 315 range. So they've got size up front, and if they're going to play as fast as they say they want to play, you'll see some big. They're going to be hoggies, I guess, by the end of the year. And the receiver room, don't have a lot of height. Everybody is about 6 foot. Terrell Timmons is 6'2", 185. They got him as a transfer out of Colorado. and they say, okay, maybe he's your jump ball guy, but he said they all have speed, and speed is one thing you cannot teach. And so we'll have to see how that works out. But I mean, they got 71 new guys, Dave. Everybody said, well, some people are picking them sixth, some people are picking them second, some people are picking them fifth. And in this league, with so many new coaches, so many new players, it's just throw something at the wall and see what sticks, and then we'll see at the end of the year how it works out, because there's just too many variables on too many teams in the American this year to say who's going to be 1, 2, or 3, other than the usual characters: Memphis, Navy, USF, maybe East Carolina, because they do bring a lot of guys back, and they still have their same head coach.
I'll make this sort of prediction based on comments that I've heard that Charles told some people last year. He thought he might have made a mistake by not preparing his number 2 quarterback enough. So at the end of the year, when they dovetailed, it was because the number 1 quarterback got injured and the number 2 QB was just not ready.
Just not ready.
And so I would not be surprised if, unless there's incredible separation and all of these games are really close, which 2 of the first 3 could really be close. Maybe all 3.
Well, let's hope so.
I think you will see 2 quarterbacks being used. Maybe not a bunch, but I think he's going to try to prep the second quarterback. And maybe we'll get a look today to see who is with 1s and who's with 2s. I don't even know if we'll get that in the practice that we're allowed to see. But
everybody's saying that Marcus Stokes, the transfer from West Florida, is probably going to be the starter. He's 6'2", 215. Aaron Nolan, who's the transfer from South Carolina, 6'3", 225, so he's a little bigger. He's the left-hander, by the way.
Right.
He hasn't had a whole lot of experience, but Marcus Stokes was like the Heisman Trophy winner in Division II, and had played, and he was originally a Florida signee. So they, however that goes, it says something about the fact that Aaron Nolan would sign here, knowing that Stokes was coming in and was probably going to be the man. Nolan thinks he's going to have a chance to play, and I imagine that's probably was the recruiting pitch that they said, look, we want all our guys to get on the field. We don't want to have just one guy in case somebody goes down and you don't have experience running this offense against live fire.
Right.
So, I would think you're right. We're going to see both of them.
And Decker, by the way, was bringing Marcus Stokes to ODU, or he was, as the OC. He was bringing him there and brought him here. So you got to figure he really knows what his strengths and weaknesses are. That would be another indication as to why he would be the number 1 guy. What did Lance Guidry have to say? I like his Southern kind of approach to things. He's got that drawl and he's got that very unique attitude. What did he have to say?
It's so funny because he is kind of a funny guy. He was saying he was on his way to Oregon State when he got the call from Coach Huff to come to Memphis. He said, oh, boy, if he calls me, I know what my wife's going to say. Hey, we ain't going to Oregon State. We're going to Memphis, because she wants to be a lot closer to home. They're both Louisiana people. And that he said, man, first thing, the food here I love, and I'm going to have my guys eat them pork chops and eat some, some pork and beans and barbecue and all the rest of that down here. I don't have to worry about them eating and keeping their weight on to, especially my guys up front, to, get the job done. And that was, I enjoyed that out of him. But he says, they're running different. They're only going to run 2 linebackers this year. Of course, they got Montgomery, who was like on everybody's all-star list and could possibly be an All-American, 6'5", 6'4", 250 out of Southern Miss, came over with Huff.
Right.
And that guy's really intelligent, number 1. Number 2, he's one of those guys where you think, oh, this guy could be, in your physics class, doing that and running experiments. But then you get him on the field, that switch flips, and he is a wild man. And he knows how to, call the defenses, make the plays, lead by example, not only in making plays, but also telling guys what to do. So, they brought in another guy that was a junior college guy just to make sure that they felt good about that position. And I would say that'd be the one position that they're not that sure of, but we'll see how that goes.
No, they're deep defensive line and defensive backfield, no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah, they like the D-line up front. They got some size. They got some guys that can move. the cornerbacks. I think there's only one job that they're really looking at. This the one of the corner spot, the boundary corner. They're looking at that, but the field corner, they think they have a good one. And Ian Foster at safety, 5'10", 195 out of Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
That guy could be, he could be everybody's All-American too. Not only is he a safety, he's a punt returner, kick returner, not afraid. He ain't scared, as we say. He'll take the ball and go. And that's one thing also that the special teams coach said is that, they will trust this guy to, if he thinks he can go. Now, he's not going to be going 8 yards deep out of the end zone, but if he's at the goal line and gets the ball and sees the lane, go. You're not going to stop him. You remember Silverfield. I do like Coach Silverfield. I'm a big Silverfield fan. And he went analytic on kickoff return, said, if you get the ball at the, if you just fair catch a kickoff, you get it at the 25, you're in great shape already. You're doing much better than most teams. But when you have a dynamic returner like an Ian Foster, we will see a lot more kick returns this year.
Well, you figure he's going to get it at least to the 25. The only time Ryan Silverfield really didn't mind a kickoff was late in the game when they needed points.
Right. Or it's just so wide open. But there were sometimes last year, like they were nobody within 15 yards of the returner, and they did it. But, the stats worked out pretty much in that favor. So we'll see. We haven't seen a lot of kick returns here lately. We probably will see somebody, Ian Foster, who is a blazer.
I can't wait.
Who could really, really run, and also he is very good cover guy at the safety position.
All right, last thing real quick. You got a minute and a half or less. Will we see an impact move by your Memphis Grizzlies? They got 22 guys. They got to get down to 18. Will they make a major move, or will there just be waving?
Well, now that LeBron has made his move, everything else is going to start falling into place. LeBron going to the Sixers. I think that really kind of opens things up in the West, because now we've seen over the last couple of years a lot of the talent has shifted to the East. So after San Antonio and Oklahoma City and maybe Denver, everything's pretty much wide open.
Yeah, it is.
In the East. So you got a chance to, move up more quickly than, say if LeBron and everybody else had still stayed in the West. I don't know that they'll make another move. Like, they got a full year to use this $28 million trade exception. They may wait and see how things are going as the season's going along. I happen to like Ty Jerome. I think he can be the starter on this team going forward. He's going to be 29, I think. So he's not old. He's not too old to be along for this ride. Plus, he was 20 minutes to play 20 minutes and give you 20 points.
And you need veterans, but we'll see if he can.
Yeah.
They didn't play him much last year, so we shall see.
No, and that was by design.
I know.
That was by design.
A
lot of those guys that were sitting could have played.
Yeah,
but it worked out because they got Boozer.
They got Boozer. By the way, Charles Barkley emphatically said the best guy in the draft of this top four, Caleb Wilson. We'll see We'll see how all that pans out. Yeah, and he mentioned Dabonsa and he mentioned Peterson really being good. He said Wilson was the best. He didn't even mention Boozer. It's interesting.
He didn't?
No.
Okay.
We'll see how
That's
it all
fine.
pans out, for sure.
Yeah.
Jarvis Greer, we'll talk more. I'll see you this afternoon. We'll talk next Thursday. Thank you.
Okay. Really good, Dave.
That's Jarvo. That's our Hall of Famer. He is brought to you by Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Whether it's your dream home you're ready to build, maybe you got land, you've had it for years, you've been waiting to pull the trigger. Now's the time you want to do it. You want that modern palace. Maybe you've got a beautiful lot you don't want to leave, but you want the modern amenities. You want the California closets. You want the media room with the speaker on the walls, the island in the kitchen that you can cook there. Understandable. But you don't want to leave where you are. You love your location. That's where renovation with innovation comes in. And that's what he and his son, William, there's third generation in the Ken Garland Custom Home Builders family. They're all working hard. They got generations of wisdom. They know how to build new homes. They know how to acquire land if that's what you need. And they know how to utilize the land you might have. And they can renovate. All you got to do is call them. You'll love talking to them. They see little details in the big picture all at once. If you're ready for that big move, that new home or that renovation, only one place to go. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Andy Schiffman and a whole lot more That'll be tomorrow. Johnny Radio's right around the corner. Don't go anywhere, and have a great day, everybody.